cans, both breaths and to hold liquid. Which one was invented first? Probably breasts. You might find out, and I don't know about that, with Jim Jefferies.
You can always tell when you put a lot of effort into that. You're just staring at the can. We have a guest in studio today, Taylor Williamson.
Hello, Taylor. Woo! Taylor's, I'd say, a friend of the show, but it's his first time. We'll see how it goes.
Well, friend in real life.
In real life, we get along very well, yeah.
See you guys every 2 or 3 years. And
Hey.
Oh, that guy.
I'm always happy to see you.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Taylor has it's out now, right? The special?
Yeah, it's out right at the moment.
It's called Live at the Comedy Store. It's streaming free on YouTube.
You know what? I just decided, like life is hard for people, and it's Hanukkah. Why not give it out for free?
Yeah.
This is what you say when Netflix didn't write back to your email.
That's what you do. Hanukkah, you would get like 7 nights, right? Or how many nights you get?
Well, normally you get 8, but you can have as many as you'd like. You can have like 15 if you'd like.
Nah, I just want 8.
Okay.
What do you mean you can have as many as you
traditional.
want?
I always find the gifts theme a bit shitty. They're always like a shoe and a rubber band and a thing and a
So I only know I can only tell my truth.
yeah. What was the standard Hanukkah for you as a kid?
I may have just dropped my never mind. But the Hanukkah you get 7 nights of back to school supplies.
Oh yeah.
And then the 8th night you get like a Sega Genesis or something like quality,
All right.
So yeah.
I was just going to ask you where your special was recorded, but it's called Live at the Comedy Store. I'm sorry.
I filmed it at
The LA Comedy Store or the London Comedy Store?
Or the Sydney Comedy Store.
Is there a Sydney
La
one now
Jolla.
too? Do you know the
La Jolla location.
the Los Angeles, Hollywood, California Comedy Store? Taylor
Sunset
Williamson
Strip.
Live at the Comedy Store.
Cool.
Nice.
Isn't there like there's a dog walking around. Isn't there like a controversy of the Comedy Store names in different countries? Like
No.
Oh.
No one patented it. They don't seem to give a fuck.
Everyone's cool.
They're all quality clubs as well.
Yeah.
They're all good.
I've never done the one in, but I know it's supposed to be one of the better ones. But the one in Sydney's great.
Yeah.
it's
They're
great,
all
yeah.
good comedy clubs.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the Comedy Store name does well. If you're living in India right now and you're trying to think about what to name your club. I don't know why I wobbled my head then. That wasn't
Why not? I feel like I got to wobble my head once in this interview. How can I do this?
Well, I have some special news. Oh, Jack's got it up. Rolling Stones Australia, as if it would be anywhere else. Rolling Stones Australia has listed me as one of the top 50 living entertainers, icons in Australia.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
Heard this.
there's people who missed out. Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
Love Ben Mendelsohn. Tim Mitchin, who
Mitchin,
who writes Western musicals and does shows. He didn't make it. So I feel very honoured that I made.
Heath Ledger.
He's not living.
Oh, living, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be alive to be living.
Yeah, Mel Gibson's living, but he didn't make it.
I saw him skiing the other day. I saw him at the ski slopes.
Yeah.
Not to take the
Yeah,
stuff
he's
away.
allowed out.
No, it's fine.
He's allowed out of the house. It's been years.
But can I tell you? I don't want to derail this wonderful story you're telling, but like,
Sure.
but I want to go back to. But I was in Big Bear, and
They already got snow there?
they got good snow there. Yeah,
Is it snowed or is it just the man-made snow?
but this was like 7 months ago. Maybe,
Okay.
you know?
Oh, okay. So not right now.
Not really, but it's
That's
fine.
better.
I'm going like a week.
But I was in the parking lot talking about how Mel Gibson doesn't care for the Jews. It's my favorite subject.
Sure.
And then 20 minutes later, Mel Gibson's next to me. What does that mean, you guys?
And you were still excited to see him. weren't you?
I would have taken a picture with him. I would have gotten lunch with him. I'm so full of shit. I'm a Jew, but I'm like, Mad Max is pretty good.
He is very good for a very long time.
But anyway, I'm so proud of you. That's what an amazing honor.
Well, but you know what? No one, Robert Rolling Stone comes and gives you a little plaque or something, right?
They didn't even ask you. They didn't even ask some questions.
They didn't ask me because the articles.
It's all bullet points.
The articles just okay. I blame myself. My Wikipedia has not been updated for a very long time.
Yeah.
In case people don't know, Wikipedia isn't fact. It's just stuff people have written.
And you're not allowed to update it yourself because you're the person. It has to be a third party that does it.
You can update.
Yeah, Jack.
I could update,
We're gonna have to
yeah.
get Jack on there because it's still. I've got
a lot of work ahead of me.
I've got 9 specials, and
Oh my God.
the Wikipedia says I got 3 for some reason. right? Anyway, so they go, yeah,
I think it says that you have 10.
yeah, this guy's an icon or something. And then they go, he has 3 specials, and he got famous because he got punched in the head. I was already selling theatres when I got punched in the head. And a lot of you didn't even know there's still fans of mine now that find out I got punched in the head. The punch in the head had very little to do with it.
What's straight off Wikipedia?
Yeah, straight off Wikipedia. But I will say thank you very much to Rolling Stone for putting
You
me
should get
in
punched in the head.
What's
Did
the
you get punched in the head in your special?
No, dude, I'm so jealous. Like that girl had a drink thrown at her. I had a guy throw a glass at me off stage and caught by a security camera, but like I didn't post it on TikTok. You know, that's the new move now is to get. You were the first, maybe.
It was a surveillance camera that got me. That was the real because it was
it's not even a
before
good
everyone
shot.
had camera phones and everything. It was just the one angle and the thing. It was very good.
It's 50 icons Australia and Aotearoa. What is that? Aotearoa?
Oh, this is and New Zealand.
That's how you spell New Zealand?
I think that might be the Maori way of
A
saying.
rotor, yeah, that's what they say when you're there. God, I don't remember the pronunciation.
Yeah, I don't know, but you
heard
know,
that before.
like Taika Waititi restart. I have friends who are on the list as well. Like, if I showed up to that party of those 50 people, I'd do all right.
Yeah.
I'd have enough people to talk to. I'd be hanging out with Rhys Darby and Russell Crowe in the corner.
You know Russell Crowe?
Yeah, Russell's my boy, man. Russell's a good guy.
That's amazing.
I'll post this too, but I want to say it now because we haven't said it. This is our last podcast of the year. So after, I'm sorry, no, it isn't. Is the next one? Oh no,
The next one.
This is our second to last podcast of the year. We're gonna do one more that'll come out on the 19th, right?
18, 19, 1 and 2.
19, yeah, whatever that Tuesday is. And then we're taking Christmas and New Year's off, so there'll be 2 weeks off, and then we'll be back in the new year. So just so everybody knows, I'll mention that again next week, and then people will still write to us, but we're not going anywhere. And you got dates coming up next year. You can go to jimjefferies.com.
When does this one come out?
This comes out on the... You'll be done with all
Oh,
your
yeah,
shows
I
this
got
year.
no
Yeah.
gigs.
You're done
Oh,
with
yeah.
all the shows this year. You're just relaxing.
Merry Christmas.
Then you're going to Sacramento, Indio, California, Las Vegas, Des Moines, Kansas City, Cape Town, etc. Go to jimjefferies.com. Taylor, you got dates coming up too, right?
I'm on tour. By the way, it's great to be here on the Hanukkah episode. It's really an honor. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
So thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm going to be in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and Oklahoma and Lexington and
Why are you
Florida.
laughing? Why are you-
It's just not my show. I just feel like an asshole being like.
And what's your website?
I was just trying to think of a possible Hanukkah joke. And all I was thinking was like a web page that just had hot chicks in cars called Honey Car.
Yeah.
And then my brain couldn't work backwards. And then I was just stuck in it. Like, Honey Car, there's something there.
Well, you don't have to feel like... I mean, it's fine. You got Taylor Williamson.
I'm proud of I'm really excited about my comedy specials. The best jokes I ever told. I was runner-up on America's Got Talent.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
talented.
Do you ever hear from the Clume?
Heidi Klum? Yeah.
I'm like this. I know Russell Crowe, and you're like, oh my God. You know, like one of the greatest supermodels in all history. And you're like, yeah, she calls me.
Yeah, well, you know, whatever. But I invited her to my comedy special taping. She couldn't make it, but
Why?
she was not available.
At least she told you.
Yeah, should have invited Seal.
I should have done that. No, she's great. I wanted to tell you while we're here. Can I tell you the first time I heard about you ever in my life?
Do it.
And stories. I'm making dramatic.
You're having sex with Heidi Klum and you had to yell out a name.
I kissed her on the mouth. If anyone is like, who's this weird guy? Look up Taylor Williamson, Heidi Klum kissing on the mouth.
Yeah.
And there's like a couple photos.
They're all on his page.
Like if
It's all just a cardboard cutout of her.
I didn't say it was really her. It's a picture of her. But I was at Ralph's, the grocery store here in California. It's like Kroger for people in other states. You know? And I was in line for food at like at midnight. And this guy's like, I gotta get home and watch Jim Jefferies. He was so excited. And this is like around your HBO special time. And I was like, this guy's, I've never seen anyone so excited to watch anybody. I was like, who's Jim Jefferies? Then I watched it and you're really funny.
Oh, thanks. So a guy in the line at Ralph's.
Yeah.
That's how things used to go viral.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Tastemakers. Two things.
If you want to hear a lot about me, a lot of my fans are 8 items or less.
That's your street team.
Well, go check out Taylor's special. We have a link to it somewhere down, like wherever we have all our stuff there. It's called Live at the Comedy Comedy Store. It's streaming free on YouTube.
Did you love it? Didn't you love it?
I did. It was amazing.
Jim, what
I
was
haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you didn't watch it, Jim?
Look, man.
I didn't send him the link. 'Cause I was late last night when I got
Man,
that. Yeah.
I have young kids. I have a wife. I don't get a lot of opportunities to masturbate, and I want to.
You can masturbate while you watch a special.
I want to really watch it. I want to really watch it. I want to be caught with a hard on in Ralph's going, I'm going home to watch Taylor.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I'm a Swiftie.
That is my favorite and least favorite reason to have not seen my special ever. I really did love that. Thank you. I can't ask for more.
I want to give it my full attention.
Bless you. Thank you.
All right, so go to TaylorWilliamson.com for all that, and then go to JimJefferies.com for dates. IDCAT Podcast on Instagram.
By the way, Russell Crowe gave Forrest that hat.
Is that true?
No.
Where he
Claire gave me this.
Oh, okay. Forrest, I can get you. He gave you a jersey, right?
He gave me the DVD, and then he goes, so Russell Crowe owns this team, and
The Rabbitohs.
the Rabbitohs, it's a rugby league team in Australia, and when I met him, he handed me a DVD and he goes, watch that, we'll talk about it next time or something. So I watched it immediately because if you ever meet him, he's very intimidating. Like not in a bad way, but like I better watch this because there might be a quiz. And I watched all of it and I was like, okay, I know what's going on. But I haven't seen him since, so I think I've forgotten a lot of it. Yeah.
That's the last time his team won the grand final.
Yeah.
I'll get him ready for that next time he sees you.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I gotta find it somewhere.
Who scored the last try?
Don't remember. That was too long ago. It was too long ago to watch. I'm nervous now. Gotta watch it online. Somewhere.
Yeah, oh God.
I met Henry Winkler one time.
Really? Is it a Jewish thing? Because he's Jewish.
Oh, you're keeping track of us, huh?
No, I can tell you why, because Adam Sandler goes on about it a lot. That's how I document all my Jewish people in Hollywood.
If you're in the song or not.
Yeah.
I gotta get in that song.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how you know you make. Can you,
Yeah.
Can you call Adam?
He goes, Henry Winkler, the fun's not bad.
My dog is Jewish.
Really?
Hi, Jewish dog.
I think that's a woman.
Hey.
How's that a Jewish dog?
She's my daughter.
Oh, thought you were circumcised.
This show's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Can you say something nice about her?
It's very nice. I like dogs. I've been giving the dog faces the whole time.
But give it can you say a compliment?
For a Chihuahua, you don't make a lot of noise.
That's not a compliment.
It's true.
It's like, what do you think she's
It's a
pretty? Well, she's
statement.
very tall.
Fluffy has Chihuahuas, and he said this, so I'm allowed to repeat this. But he called one of them in front of me. He goes, "There's my Mexican doorbell."
Russell Crowe did?
No, Fluffy.
Fluffy.
Oh, sorry.
Gabriel.
No, that was Mel Gibson. he was like, I was standing next to some Jew in Big Bear the other day. And one of those Mexican doorbells in his arms. Anyway, I'm somewhat back.
And now let's meet our guest, Mike Blazak.
Now it's time to play.
Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though.
Liquid Death.
Judging a book by its cover.
All right, everybody. Okay, so Mike lives in a winterscape type of a place. I'm going to say you're an East Coast person. Am I correct?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm out of ideas. It looks rather.
There's
cold
other places
there.
that snows.
Oh, okay.
Name one.
Yeah, there's nowhere else in America that snows. It's the East Coast and the top bit. Are you from the top bit?
I'm pretty close to the top.
Oh, okay. So you have to deal with Canadians on a regular basis. Am I correct?
Actually, I do.
Okay. So is it Canadians? Is that the special?
No, south of the border.
Oh, south of that's
Mexico.
that's when the Canadians go south of the border down Michigan way. Okay, so you're.
This isn't going to help you, by the way, where he's from.
It will.
Okay, sure. Go. Keep
Because
going.
like now I know it's not going to be like the Liberty Bell.
Look, Jim is 175 episodes into this. He knows how to question.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Is it the Liberty Bell?
No, not Philadelphia.
All right. Is it?
I've seen it.
Are we doing something educational today? Is it something that you can lecture at
Let
university?
me help you out. Pizza.
Was it pizza?
Italy. I'm sorry.
Oh, where he's from.
Oh, Italy. Yeah, Italy.
No, it doesn't snow. No, maybe parts. I don't know.
Oh, Chicago.
He's from Chicago. Yeah, he's in
Right,
Chicago.
Chicago.
He's in Chicago.
There.
Yeah,
Yes.
Chicago.
You have it.
I've got theories on Chicago. Very nice. Looks good in John Hughes movies. Snows too much is only nice 1 month out of the year. That 1 month is a banger though. It's really good. It's a real good city in spring. It's crushing it. But if I dated a woman who had a
have to come
period
in the
11
fall.
months out of the year, I
the
wouldn't marry
fall.
her.
It's the fall.
Mike says the fall.
I don't like. You know what? The fall reminds me of death.
Jesus.
If everyone goes, look at the foliage. All I see is death.
We haven't even gotten to the questions yet, so you might want to guess what he's here to talk about.
Is it foliage, Mike? Is it foliage? Mike,
No.
Mike, is it about the human body?
No.
No.
Let Mike answer. Mike.
Sorry, my bad.
Is it about the entertainment business?
Well, I'm entertained by it, but probably most other people aren't.
Oh, okay.
Everyone, I would guess everyone has.
Is it dog pornography?
I would guess everyone has used one of these.
Dog pornography.
Definitely in this room. Definitely in this room. But most people in the country at one point or another have been on one.
Oh, is it?
Dog pornography.
Everyone's been on one.
A
Is it?
DVD of dog pornography.
Is it Jack's sister?
Took too long for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to say mother. I wanted to say mother, but I really love his mum, and I've met his mum several times. And then I know that Jack doesn't have a sister,
No.
so I can get away with that joke without hurting
Oh, look, if
anyone's
this is the way I
feelings.
found out I had a sister. This would be very interesting.
This is an evolved Jim Jefferies. I really respect that.
Well, I like his mum. I like his mum.
Classy.
And Forrest's mum's dead. I went through the catalogue of mum, and you're like a guest. I mean, if I went,
you.
"But Forrest's mum," he would have been upset. Then Jack's mum will call us. Then your mum. Who knows
Go,
what
you need to
happened
quit
there.
today.
I hear like
we're doing trains. That's the. I can't go on through this anymore.
Wait, guess trains.
on who?
The subject is trains.
Oh.
We're talking about trains with Mike Blazak today. Mike Blazak is a lawyer and transportation historian from the
Jack's
Chicago
sister.
area. He has represented railroad clients for 47 years and has written extensively regarding railroad history and operations, including his co-authored 2015 book, Chicago, America's Railroad Capital. There's a hand for you. Thanks for being here, Mike. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got in the trains, or do that?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I come from a railroad family. My father, my uncle, my grandmother all worked for the Pennsylvania Railroad. And when I graduated from law school, I went to work for the Santa Fe Railway. And since then, I've worked for many railroads across the United States and Canada. I've also branched out and done a lot of work in the infrastructure area, generally with roads, water systems, bridges, airports, various things. But my heart is basically in the railroad industry, and I've stayed connected with it, even though I've been mostly retired for the last few years.
So you a guy that collects trains? Are you a train spotter?
Yes,
Yeah. Do you sit at the actual?
we call them rail fans in the U.S., but yes.
Yeah. Okay. But you
What do they call them in the U.S.?
Rail fans.
Rail fans.
Yeah,
Rail
do
fans,
you know
yeah.
what a train spotter is in Britain?
Yeah, they sit there and
they
time
sit
them, right?
there. Well, no, they write down. Oh, the 205's late. Oh, here comes the 823 from Nottingham, right? And they've always got like a thermos of coffee or whatever, and they sit there with a packed lunch and they count on the trains, and it's train spotting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're from the movie Train Spotting. They decided to spruce it up and add a few drugs.
Wow. This is beautiful.
So here's what's going to happen, Mike. I'm going to ask Jim a series of questions, and he's going to try and answer about trains. He's going to try and answer them, and also Taylor's going to assist in there as well, try his best.
And Taylor's sister. Do you have a sister?
I don't, so feel free to talk about her getting
fuck
railroaded.
the shit out of your sister.
Thank you.
It's so nice of you.
Thank you.
I have to find.
I have a brother, but you can do that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't be mean to him.
Oh, okay. Respect.
Happy Hanukkah, Taylor's brother.
So at the end of them entering the questions, you're going to grade them on their accuracy, Mike, 0 through 10. 10's the best. Jack here is going to grade them on their confidence, and I'm going to grade them on how hungry I am. And I just had a sub, so not very hungry, but still. And we're going to add all the scores together. 21 through 30 equals Throw Mama from the Train. Like that movie.
You'll have a second lunch.
11 through 20 equals Thomas the Tank Engine. And then 0 through 10 is Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. Terrible movie. You don't want to do that.
Now, did you know that the fat controller in Thomas the Tank Engine?
Never watched it.
Well, If you watched it here in America, the voice was done here in America by George Carlin.
Yeah.
And in Britain it was done by Ringo Starr. And in Britain he was called the Fat Controller. Then the Fat Controller said, "All right there, Thomas, time to pull into the station." Right? And then when Carlin did it, he was just called the Controller because you Americans went, "That's just a normal looking
Yeah, he looks fine.
person." Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Have you watched the show Shining Time Station?
No, I'm
What's
not.
that?
I'm weird.
But that was the PBS show that George Carlin was on, isn't
Oh.
it? And he played like a little train guy, isn't that right?
Maybe it was in the trains, Carlin. We didn't know it.
he might have been.
Do you know anything about that, Mike? George Carlin in the trains?
No, I've. It sounds familiar, but I don't want to say that I've ever watched it because I don't recall doing it.
Okay.
Well, this is the
think I
whole.
just heard about it.
This is the whole thing with Thomas the Tank Engine. They all lived on a small island, right? It didn't. It didn't need a rail network. It's an island. Like, why have you got so many trains?
With faces.
It's about 20 miles by 20 miles. That's it. It doesn't even need a freeway.
Probably because maybe getting gasoline to the island is hard, and they have other alternative sources to power the train.
No,
Yeah,
you're
okay.
clutching there.
Not really.
I think it was just.
I mean, I think trains are fun.
I think it was just for kids.
But
Yeah.
should they have a horse?
All right, let's get to the
Yeah.
question.
How do they get around?
Oh, sorry.
Thomas the Horse. Well, cars.
Okay.
You can still drive around on roads.
Well, I don't know if there's roads. I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's not going to be a gas station on a 20 by 20 island.
You're being ridiculous.
haven't been to a lot of
You're
islands,
being
it looks
I've been
like.
to a lot of islands.
Wait till we do our episode on islands.
I've been to
That'll be
more.
our next
I've
episode.
been to more islands than you've been to. Don't
I don't
you
think-
worry
I
about
don't
that.
think so.
Oh, you're going to use your Florida Keys. I don't count your redneck
Caribbean?
islands. I've been to the Caribbean. I even
All
call
of
it by
it?
its real name.
He said the Caribbean.
Yeah.
All right, what was the world's first recorded railway, and when was it built?
Born on an island, man.
What was the...
Isn't everything an island if you think about it? Really?
Sure.
No, you're
Australia is an
connected to-
island.
Australia is a fucking island.
We are too then. The whole North
No,
and South
you're
America
not
is an
because you
island.
connected to Canada.
Trains. We're talking about trains.
Yeah.
We'll do the continent episode another
If
time.
you're an island, stop building bloody walls between people.
What was the
This is
world's...
stressful.
You guys have the largest fence in the world. What was the world's...
Stop dingoes.
What was the world's first recorded railway, and when was it built?
Well, the first recorded would have been from Brisbane to Tamworth.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
Australia.
the first railway. It wasn't. Look, I'll tell you this: what I think the American railroad system, and I might upset our guest here, is fucking dog shit. I lived in Britain where it's a real thing, where trains work and stuff. American trains, you should have this whole country connected up with trains.
Don't you have
The
a heart
whole
out
bloody-
today? Let's answer the questions.
What? Jesus.
I'm with it. We keep California keeps voting against it too.
Vegas should be paying for a train to go out there all fucking day.
I agree with
Every
this.
tourist who comes in, and that a bullet train out to that should take 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours tops.
And it's fun. You'd be able to gamble and drink and whatever.
You'd have a drinking cut. You'd look out the dead's a wonderful thing, and you'd be a straight fucking line. It's good for LA tourism, good for Vegas tourism.
I like trains. I'm with you. I think we should have more trains in this country.
Need more trains. Anyway, so
We'll
the
talk about
the first train.
The world's first recorded railway, when was it built?
Well,
Like,
it would have
where was
been
it?
after the Industrial Revolution. And I would have said that it would have something to do with Charles Brunel, who invented the width of the railway tracks. In fact, Brunel used to carry around a staff that everyone thought was a cane to help him walk, and it was, but it was actually measured to the exact width of what he designed train tracks to be.
This is a trick he does, Mike. Don't
Wait
fall
a
for
minute,
it.
wait a minute. Brunel also harked from the great town of Bristol, England. I'm going to say your first train was Bristol to London. Mic drop. Everyone suck my
What year?
dick.
What year? What year?
Okay.
2012. Brunel. It would have been 1880.
Okay. Who is often credited as the father of railways for his significant contributions to the development of steam locomotives?
Charles Brunel.
Okay. In what year did the first? You have any? You can answer too, Taylor.
I mean, he's so confident. I
Yeah,
can't be.
that is-
I have no other idea.
very
But he's at a
Yeah.
10 for confidence right now, no question.
That you don't have to if you feel like interjecting. Just let it
I
go
mean,
on.
my guess is Charles Brunel. Do I get points?
Yeah, good guess.
1 and 2 is Charles Brunel.
There's a lot of Brunel universities in England and stuff. Brunel's like a thing.
Wait, my question for how the rules, forgive me, I'm new here. Is it like Price is Right rules? Like, can I go no answer? And does he lose points if he's wrong?
You're a guest. You can do whatever
I've
you want.
never been against anybody.
You can do whatever you want. You're a guest. Yeah.
If you have a better answer, I'm just.
I think
Look, between me and you, there's no guy called Brunel.
Can I give my honest guess? Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher. Okay.
Margaret Thatcher built the first trains
Yeah.
in the 1980s when she shut down all the unions.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little before that.
She was the one who stopped all the coal mining.
Yeah. I just believe everything he says. He's so confident.
I'm not.
I just talked to Jack like I wasn't on a microphone, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, next
Sorry.
one,
I'm
next
sorry,
one,
guys.
next
I'm
one.
sorry, everyone listening out
Next
there.
one, come on.
In what year did the first steam locomotive hauled public railway passenger service operate, and where was it? So the first steam locomotive that hauled public passengers, what year?
I'll say we'll go back to England again. I'm going to go. It would have been.
From where to where? Let's just do that. Or
It would have been 18. I'll even go earlier than Brunel, 1880 and all that sort of stuff. So I'll move the first. I'll move the first answer back to 1840, and then I'm going to go 1860 Nottingham to Norwich.
I'm going to go 1812. And I'm going to go San Diego to Orange County.
Never in a million years.
I'm taking the
They still
Amtrak.
can't get that train ride going now.
Orange County. Got it. What is the Transcontinental Railroad in the United States, and when was it completed?
Okay, it's a they them train. The Transcontinental.
Yeah.
That would be like a European fella that became a woman. I don't know.
Something about Manifest Destiny, for sure.
That's good.
I think it's. I'm gonna say that it was something about Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna say, when was the first Thanksgiving? November. I'm gonna say November. I'm just gonna say November.
Yeah, November. That's a good
Yeah,
guess.
I'm going with Taylor.
Thursday.
So it was completed in November. That was the only one question.
Well, you know how like
I asked what was it?
Oh, what was it?
Yeah,
It was the railroad that connected the east coast of America together, starting off with Rhode Island, going into New York, and then out to the city of brotherly love, home of the Liberty Bell, Philadelphia.
I think it was Norwich to London
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
in November.
yeah, Norwich to London.
Norwich to London. Okay. What is the significance of the golden spike in the history of American railroads?
It's a spike that got peed on, isn't it?
Yeah. See, it was
First
a
one.
it was a biker who everyone thought he was just into bikes because of leather fetish, but it turned out he's just a sicko who liked to be urinated on.
Biker.
Golden Spike.
And that has to do with the trains?
He drove him.
But the motorcycle would drag before fossil fuel was invented. The motorcycle would drag the train so people could get to their destination.
No,
on
he
time.
was steampunk.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
I'm sorry. I'm
Of
dumb.
course he's going to be steampunk.
Okay.
He had these great big goggles that he never put over his eyes that just sit on top of his head. And then he had like too many buttons.
Oh yeah, Mad Max is Australia, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So that's my answer. Is Mad Max.
That's
Mad
Mad
Max.
Max.
What was the impact of the first transcontinental railroad in the United States?
Acceptance, but it took a while.
Okay. Do I need to ask these? I think we can just go. All right.
Caitlyn Jenner's my answer.
Here's one. Here's one for you. Yeah, I think you guys can get this. Name one famous luxury train known for its opulent amenities and travel experience. Just one.
The Indian Pacific.
Huh?
The Indian Pacific is the train that goes across Australia from one
Okay.
side to another. If you want to travel from Sydney to Perth,
Any other guesses?
is the Indian Pacific.
opulent
What's
train.
the one that everyone always, Agatha Christie? They're always on the Express.
I just watched the Orient Express,
Orient Express.
which is
Okay.
a racist word I would never use.
Yeah. Because I say Oriental. I don't shorten it like him.
That's why it's racist.
Yeah.
What person or who designed the iconic Flying Scotsman, and why is it famous?
The Flying Scotsman.
Was that Roddy Piper?
The Flying Scotsman. The Flying Dutchman was also something.
But that's what we're talking about.
That was an opera written by Wagner. The Flying Dutchman is about 3.5
Flying
hours
Scotsman.
long. Yeah, but that's worth mentioning Wagner. When are we going to do Wagner?
Oh yeah, you should have him as a guest.
Yeah, Wagner.
We got a lot of questions to get through here.
All
Let's
right.
skip through. Let's skip a
Okay.
couple. We'll
Bloody
go over
hell.
it. Yeah.
Moody fella.
Yeah.
All right, it was a big train then.
Okay. We'll get to that. We'll talk to that. What is the significance of the big boy steam locomotive, and how does it hold a place in railroad history?
Oh, it put a bun in the middle. The first person to put a bit of bread in the middle of the bread. The big boy. The big boy was before the Big Mac, and a lot of people know that. And the big boy, so it was the first, extra bit of bread. The club, they call it.
I believe everything you say.
That is called the club, and the big boy did invent the sandwich, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
Bob's Big Boy in Burbank.
Yeah. That invented the sandwich with the 3 bits of bread.
The burger.
Can I tell you what's funny is I believe everything you say, but when Jack yes ands you, I don't believe
No,
it.
it's true. Have you not been to Bob's?
I don't trust you.
Have you not been to Bob's?
I don't trust you.
It's,
Bob's is so
it's
good.
Bob
You're
Big Boy.
shady.
We did a Bob's Big Boy recently in like Canada or something. We were driving around and we had it, and we enjoyed it so much we went for a second loop.
Can I tell you? I'm sorry. I don't want to derail
Fine.
things.
Nice.
But I just want to.
This whole podcast is a train crash.
I just like to acknowledge that during the writer's strike, I let any writers who go to Bob's Big Boy, I paid for all their meals.
Oh,
for
that
6
was you.
months.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Did you?
That was me.
I thought that was Drew Carey, but cool.
I told Drew he can take the attention.
I tried to do it as well. I went down there to pay for it, but they said already paid for, and so
Got 4 big boys.
I once went down and tried to buy all the layaway stuff at Kmart, right, for Christmas.
Yeah.
I thought I'm going to do a big thing, and I went and I'm like, hey, how much stuff have you got for layaway? And they took me backstage to go, we've got this whole room. It was all crap, right? It's all crap. And I went, I'll pay for all of it, thinking I'm a wonderful person. I didn't post about it. I didn't take any photo. And I just went and did it. But every time I went and paid $1,000, my bank it just kept on shutting down because no one spent that much in Kmart ever. And I went, I'm trying to do something Christmassy here. Please let me keep doing it. No, I will work this time. I put another 5. I got to about 20 grand and I just called it a day and walked out and said, I can't help you anymore. I'm sorry, Kmart.
But it's so kind of you to support Kmart.
I know, you're upsetting Forrest. Why would you do such a thing?
You're not upsetting
We're
right now.
going to go, you just did the...
I got all day. I don't know how long Mike has, but I got all day. Which country boasts the world's fastest commercial train service, and what is its top speed?
That'd be the Japanese do the fastest train, bullet trains.
Top speed?
As they're called. Top speed, 389 miles an hour.
I would actually. Are we competing?
Sure.
Yeah.
I would call it the Shinkansen.
Shinkansen.
That's bullet train in Japanese.
You feel like a guy that spent a lot of time in Japan.
I've been told that I look like I date Asian women. I have that.
You do. You have the height and posture.
Thank you. Arigato. Shinkansen.
All right.
I say 400 miles an hour.
He said 399. So you
380.
just reverse prices right
380,
yourself.
389, 389.
I go
389,
380,
okay.
87.
Okay.
I go $1.
I'll come back to this question. We'll skip this. Which famous train journey crosses through 8 time zones and spans nearly 6,000 miles?
The Siberian Express.
I would say the Costa Rica tram.
It's just a tram, huh?
It's a train, but they call it.
It would have
Costa
it would
Rica
have
tram.
to start in Russia and then go all the way over and down and across all those time zones.
Which famous train
Ends in
route?
Morocco.
Which famous train route takes passengers from Chicago to Los Angeles and is often associated with classic American travel?
I don't believe there's such a thing.
The Greyhound.
Yeah, the Greyhound buses.
They just have a couple of buses together.
I've never seen a train carrying people in this country. I've been up and down the bloody thing. I've never seen people go, I'm up on the train like this. I see like you carrying like container ships of shit that's got to go.
I'd take a train to San Francisco sometime, or up the coast. Yeah.
I've seen people do San Diego and stuff.
No,
like
yeah,
that.
that's
Nothing
pretty
too
nice one.
serious.
How does a steam locomotive move? How does it work?
You got to shovel coal into a little fire, and then you got to go to release some steam because you don't want it to build up too much. And then you got to look, if you want it to get really hot. Look, the hotter it gets, the faster it goes. So you get these like carbon fiber logs like this that you keep in the DeLorean, and then you put them in, and if it goes fast enough, you'll be right.
So just coal and then it goes?
Yeah. That's all that happens, Forrest. I thought you said we were in a rush. You want
this
me?
guy?
He wants me to talk about how to build a steam train.
I'm sorry.
I know how I've driven one before.
Yeah, you know how it goes?
It's got things like this. Like that. And then the thing goes out the front. The majestic of the railroad. Wonderful.
You hold a little controller and you press the button, and then that guy's got
You turn the dial.
Oh yeah, you go to the dial. Yeah.
Dial it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does the word train come from? Origin.
From the word training, because when they first got the train, they said you're all going to have to do some training and train on this device, and everyone was like, "What? Train is the device? Sure,
It's crazy you got that right.
probably."
I thought it, I know it's supposed to be funny, but the real answer isn't it, because that song Drops of Jupiter, and they like that song so much they're like, we're gonna name this after that band we love.
Yeah, a combination of your answer I think is correct.
I choose you.
I'm not the expert. We'll find out. How much does a locomotive weigh?
I don't know. Bit less than
It's not-
Jack's sister.
How dare you? She's on Ozempic.
Yeah, and a lot of things.
I'm gonna say 700 pounds.
700 pounds for the locomotive.
Oh, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
What- what-
700 pounds.
What is it?
You think 700 pounds? This table of men combined is 700 pounds.
Oh, way more than that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's how much it costs in England.
I'm gonna go 1,000. I'm gonna go 200 tons.
200 tons.
A ton's like 1,000 pounds, right?
Yeah. So what is that? 200,000.
2,000 pounds.
200,000.
Oh, so that's 400,000.
Yeah, 400,000 pounds. You heard me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What country
It's
travels?
700 pounds.
What country travels the most by train? What country?
I would say, is this per capita or all up? Because if it's all up, I've seen trains in India where they're all sitting on the roof.
Right.
I reckon that one's getting used to all fuck. I reckon, like, you can say what you want about India, but they're using the trains. Right?
Gotta give them that.
You gotta give them that. But I would say, I'd say England per capita. The British, it's a confined space. It's perfect for train travel. Most people get to work on trains. Plus, if we're including the underground, which was made by Brunel, he was using trains as well. So I'm gonna say the Brits.
Okay.
I say
kingdom.
Japan.
Japan. All right. Last question.
They're not even using cutlery yet, mate.
And that's really racist.
Against
I can't be. I gotta go. I can't.
What is the difference? What is this last question? What is the difference, if any, between American trains and European trains?
European trains have more smoke coming out of them.
No, you guys are not taking it seriously. The European trains have foreskin.
Yeah, the American trains stay on the right hand side of the track.
Yeah, good one.
The American trains have guns off the side like the A-Team.
All right, I think that's enough.
Too soon.
Mike,
Too
still
real.
there?
I'm still here.
All right. How did Jim and Taylor do on their knowledge of trains 0 through 10? 10 is the best.
Well, I'd say they kind of got it off to a stumbling start, but they had a strong finish. So I'm going to give them 4 out of 10.
All right.
Okay.
Not bad.
All right.
Not bad.
The train's,
Pretty accurate. I
train's
think.
a little late.
How did they do in confidence?
These are the two most confident people I've ever seen in my life. It's 10 in confidence. No
Yeah,
question.
You're making. I've never had anyone think I'm confident because I'm with you. This is great.
Yeah.
I like him now.
Yeah.
I wasn't hungry at the beginning of that, but it took so long. I am hungry again now. So give it 10 on that. So that is 24. Throw Mama from the Train. Good movie. Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
All right.
Vito.
Let's go back through the.
And the fat woman from the Goonies.
Can I tell you true story? As a child, I thought that was Sam Kinison.
True story as a child. I thought that was my mum, had an acting job.
So here we go, Mike. Let's answer these questions. What was the world's first recorded railway, and when was it built? Jim talked a lot about Brunel, and And then you said Norwich, England, I believe. Nottingham, you said, yeah.
Norwich.
He did. All those answers are wrong. Brunel, and by the way, his name was, I think, Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Oh, yeah, it's not Charles.
Well, that might have been his name when he was.
No.
became a royal,
You're right. Fuck it. I've seen a documentary on him. He's not called Charles.
Brunel he was the one who came up with the 6-foot gauge. He thought that the regular gauge was too small, and the Great Western Railway was the one he built in England that went out to Wales. And that's the one with 6-foot gauge. But anyway, the right answer is the Stockton and Darlington Railway, which connected the towns of its name, which was built to haul coal and started running in 1825.
So all Brunel invented was making it wider.
That and the locomotives. He was, I think, responsible for some of the technical advances in locomotives.
But wasn't he?
And he was active 1840s, 1850s was kind of his prime time.
He also invented the way to dig tunnels through mountains and stuff like that, because he invented the machine to make the underground in London and all type of stuff. Am I correct in saying that, or you don't know?
Yeah, I haven't looked at. That could be. I don't know enough about the English railways to tell you that. I do know that one of the primary builders of the underground in London was a guy from Chicago by the name of Yerkes, who had to leave here under some heat because of the way he bribed people to get his elevated railway built. He's the one who built our elevated railways here in Chicago.
Why don't more cities do the elevated railroads? It gives you kind of a unique look to your city, innit? It gives you more space on the floor. Why is that just a Chicago thing?
Because the property owners hate it. They hate the noise and they hate the dirt.
Right. So why did you guys do it at all then is my next question.
because Yerkes was very persuasive with his pocketbook. We eventually built subways, but they weren't built until the World War II period.
In Miami, we have elevated. It's all elevated because you can't dig.
Let's say that all you sleazebags can look up women's dresses.
Well, no.
I didn't know you were a sleazebag. Why am I here? It's disgusting.
If you dig in Miami, a foot down, you hit water. So you can't do that. So.
It's like New Orleans, but with bodies, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks. Can you cut out that part?
Yeah. It's like New Orleans, but without the alcohol and more cocaine.
Who is often credited as the father of railways for his significant contributions to the development of steam locomotives? He said Brunel.
Because he was he did that to make the width. He's the godfather of width.
I think Brunel's primary innovation was the 6-foot gauge, but the answer to that one is George Stephenson, who was both a civil engineer and laid out the Stockton and Darlington, and also invented and built the locomotives that were used on the Stockton and Darlington when it started running.
I thought it was Kylie Minogue who got the locomotion.
She did the locomotion, but it was actually a cover.
What?
She probably did it better than George Stephenson.
Yeah, there you go. George Stephenson first did it.
George Stephenson was the original.
No, I'm kidding. That was the father of the railways. Taylor's not going to learn anything about you.
Right.
I hope they don't show this show in schools.
No, they don't.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Highly unlikely.
It's very rare people show this show in their house. This is a vehicle program at best.
Yeah, a couple of people watch it, but mostly listen in their cars, I would think. Yeah. All right. And what year did the first steam locomotive hauled public railway passenger service operate, and where was it? Jim said Nottingham to Norwich, however you say it.
Norwich,
1860. Taylor said Orange County in 1812. I don't know if that's right.
San Diego to Orange County.
Orange County. No, the railroad along the coast was built in the 1880s. The answer to the question is the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, which connected the cities of its name, and that started in 1830. That was the first. Before, there were passenger trains like on the Stockton and Darlington, but they were pulled by horses.
I used to live in Manchester. So Manchester to Liverpool's about 50 miles away from Manchester. It would be
35.
pretty 35 miles?
That's what my notes say. 35.
Yeah, I lived on the outskirts on the other side of Manchester, so it's all relative.
I'll accept that.
But also trains goes just straight line. That's the thing is.
Here's the go. So one of the most famous trains in the world is the one where you can get the express train to Paris from London, right? So you get in at one station, you go under the water, under the English Channel, and you end up in Paris, right? And the train, it's one of the bullet trains, and there's about an hour stretch, or maybe 45 minutes where you're in the dark, right? You're just under the water the whole time. And then it takes 2 hours something for this train ride. But it has to travel substantially slower in the UK because the tracks aren't built as good. Once it gets into the French area, it speeds up. Right?
Wow.
But while it's in England, it has to sort of putter along a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's called the.
I think they were older tracks as well in the other one, but there was a bit where the French were digging and the English were digging, and then a little hand popped through and they touched each other. And I remember my whole childhood, my dad's like, the bloody English will never fucking join up with the French. They're digging in the wrong direction.
You know anything about this tunnel, Mike?
Yeah. If it was what I recall about it is that when they dug the tunnel, it was so accurate they were off by like a 16th of an inch.
Yeah.
Two tunnel digging heads.
That's amazing.
And it's been a tremendous commercial success, or I should say, an operating success. They've had some issues with money, but I was going to mention this later. But the pandemic has really hurt rail passenger service worldwide, including the Eurostars, and I've read that they've got some financial issues. They also have branched out. They go to Amsterdam now, and they're looking at some other services they can do through the tunnel.
They do a train to Amsterdam, because I would have done that a lot more often. But I did.
That's been going for a while.
I did the train to France a few times, and it did feel very luxurious just to pop up in a different country.
Yeah, that's cool. I do like the trains. When we were in Europe and we were just a couple of trains we took, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So much better.
But you wait there until it's a Sunday in England and you got to come home and they have a bus replacement service. Because that's when they always work on the train. They never work on working days, and his comics were always back, and it's always like, you better not be in one of the lines they're working on, because they go, on the train today, we have a bus replacement service. Then charge me the price of a bus, cunts.
Yeah.
That happens in New York, too. That'd be the worst, like at 3 a.m. when you're trying to go home, and it's like, I have to wait for a half hour for a bus to take me home.
Here we go. Here's a fun fact. My brother was just getting the train. So Sydney's a very train city, like all around if you ever live around Sydney. My brother was on a train that derailed.
What?
Yeah, he was. He was in his 20s. It would be 20 odd years ago, 20 something years
How
ago.
bad of a derail? Just like pop off, or fall over.
It
on the
just
side?
fell across and went, and they all got off fine. But he got like the day off work.
Yeah.
He didn't have to go in because you've just been in a train derailment. I once was on a Virgin. The end. No, I was once on a Virgin Express going up to like Manchester or something like that, and I was leaning against the window, just bucketing along 200 something miles up to Manchester, and the whole window next to me just shattered into that white, like that. Someone threw a rock at it or something.
When you're going,
It scared the hell out of me.
You know, Bruce Willis one time was on a train that derailed, and he was the only survivor.
They should make a movie about that.
And he can't even tell the story anymore.
Oh,
God.
Why? What happened?
He's got dementia.
What?
You don't know about Bruce Willis? Bruce Willis has to drop out of
He's
thing.
retired from movies. He's unable to act anymore.
Oh, so you can also be a Bruce Willis expert.
Next episode.
I've got the hair for it.
He's back basically living like Demi Moore and the kids have taken him back because it's like, and he just sort of shuffles around a bit. You feel sorry for him because he still looks really young, but he's not. His memories aren't his memories anymore.
Yeah, it's sad.
Very sad.
Thanks for bringing it up, Taylor.
Yeah. Why? What happened? What a terrible thing to say.
Listen, I'm Taylor Tomlinson, by the way. I just want to say that.
What is the Transcontinental Railroad in the United States, and when was it completed? A lot of jokes in here. We don't need. No, I think you said connect the east to west, Jim. You did throw that at the end.
Connect the east to west.
Yeah, of the United States.
Yeah, the correct answer is it was from Omaha, Nebraska, to Sacramento, California. And
Why?
the completion date was May 10, 1869.
Gold Rush.
Yeah, but if I was to say like
Gold Rush was 20 years before.
Hey, please don't correct me.
If I was to say a less likely train route than Omaha, Nebraska to Sacramento, California, that's a weak ass. Who wants to do that? I reckon there's only about 5 people who fly that route a day.
Yeah, but it might be not people. It might be cargo.
Or comedians, you're doing like the funny bone and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
punchline.
that's true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could be doubling up on your yeah.
You got to get to the comedy club.
Did
Why was that? Is there a reason it was Omaha, Sacramento? Like,
There is. It's because there were private railroad companies building across Iowa at the time, and the route was selected, and the termini were selected by President Lincoln during the Civil War. And he did not want to compete with the private railroad companies that were reaching out toward the Missouri River. And so they started at Omaha. The railroad, when it first started to build, everything had to be brought in by boat up the Missouri River. And the reason it stopped at Sacramento was Sacramento can be reached by boat from San Francisco.
Okay. And so this was publicly funded then? That's because you're saying private.
It was private companies did it with a public subsidy. They got so many dollars per mile built. And so there was a race when they were toward the end to see who could, which one would have the longer line. Turned out the Union Pacific had the longer line. But it was a subsidized operation. Most of the transcontinental railroads were subsidized, but usually through the grant of public lands. So that as you build the route, you got alternating sections of land you could sell off to farmers. That's how they were able to finance most of it.
And so what was the impact of this? Of the first transcontinental railroad in the United States?
Well, it brought people west to populate the plains, which is what it was trying to do, that and connect California to the rest of the nation, because California was a state in 1849, but had no connection over land other than by stagecoach or by Pony Express for a year or so.
I don't understand how they took so long to conquer the West. It's America. It's the nicest.
There's no water. There's no water. It's hard to farm without water.
Fucking go
to Ralph's, go to Gelson's.
Mulholland. If you ever we should do Mulholland one time.
We should do water in California, honestly.
Yeah, Mulholland's he's an interesting cat, man.
Mulholland?
Like Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy who brought water into LA. He's the reason that LA
Very
exists.
controversial.
It's a person?
Yeah.
Yes. You're out of your...
I didn't know, but
off. You're kidding
I didn't know Mulholland Drive was... I know it's a movie. I know it's a street.
Yeah, named after a person.
I didn't know.
The statue, I think, is right there by Griffith Park at the far end.
Without Mulholland, we don't have Los Angeles.
Wow. So he's
That's
responsible
correct.
for all this.
Yeah. Well, we'll do Mulholland, maybe, or water. And,
Yeah.
What is the significance of the Golden Spike in the history of American railroads? Where do we go? Spike got
Hi,
peed
I'm
on.
Golden Spike.
There was a biker, drove the trains, Mad Max.
I'm a biker and a train enthusiast. Golden Spike.
I don't think any of these are right. Mike, what is the significance? Yeah.
I think that it's really the same answer as the previous one. It completed the Transcontinental Railroad. You can see it today at Stanford University. The interesting fact about it is that the executives came out to pound the spike, and none of them could do it. They kept missing it. One of the track workers had to finish it.
Oh, they were doing it like I christen you, and they couldn't hit the nail on the top of the head, huh?
Yeah, like a ceremonial thing.
Correct.
Yeah. Some guy's just standing in the corner. Give me the hammer.
Was it John Henry?
He was on the Norfolk and Western. He was in Virginia.
Do you know about him?
Taylor's trying to get right answer.
I thought John Henry was one of the contestants of The Bachelor this season.
He might be. He's the guy who was like really. He worked on the railroad all the livelong day, right?
I don't know that one.
What did John Henry? Didn't he the guy who he's strong on the railroad?
I'm not sure. Ask Mike.
He was competing with a machine to build a tunnel, and the machine beat him, but he died trying.
Wait, is this a myth or is it a real thing?
I think it's a myth.
Okay.
And what was the machine? Is it just Bert?
I don't recall the facts. I've got those facts. But I don't recall them off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, don't worry about that. Name one.
You'd hear Bert in that tunnel. Come on, party.
Name one famous luxury train known for its opulent amenities and travel experience. Jim said the Indian Pacific in Australia, and they both. Also
And
said
I would
Orient
agree
Express.
with that, although it wasn't one of my answers. I've been on the Indian Pacific twice, and enjoyed it greatly. And I'm looking forward to going back to Australia to pick up the ones that I haven't actually taken, which the GAN is the number one on my list. Hopefully I'll get back and I'll try that.
The Indian Pacific, it's a 2.5 day train ride from Sydney to Perth. And one of the carriages are like sleeping carriages, ones where you stand up, and then there's one that they might as well go, just bring a bag of Coke and have a good time, right? Because there's one
that's pretty close to accurate.
There's one party carriage that's just filled with British tourists that are just like, we're going outside, boom, dun, 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 dun. Like they're the whole way across Australia, they're going for it.
What's the other one in Australia? You said
The Gaines.
Well, there's the GAN, which runs from Adelaide to Darwin now. They've extended the railroad up to Darwin. My favorite one in Australia, though, was the Queenslander, which doesn't run anymore, but it was probably the most luxurious train I've ever been in.
Huh. Really? And it was fueled on...
Brisbane to Cairns.
Yeah. The Cairns, yeah. I've been all these places.
Yeah.
I've ridden the train in Australia, but just Sydney to Newcastle. That's all I've done. So, and then Orient Express, and I guess you have some other ones listed here. The American.
Yeah,
ones.
In the United States, we'll talk about the Super Chief in a minute, but the Super Chief is between Chicago and Los Angeles. Was pretty much the standard for train travel until it was discontinued. And then in the East, the 20th Century Limited between New York and Chicago, there was a Broadway play that was based on the 20th Century Limited. And if you look through mid-century, for example, the movie North by Northwest with Alfred Hitchcock with Cary Grant, he rode the 20th Century in that movie.
And who designed the iconic Flying Scotsman, and why is it famous?
Okay, the Flying Scotsman is two things. It's a train and it's a locomotive. The train came first, ran between London and Edinburgh. They were able to make it run nonstop by having a larger tender and being able to change crews with a tunnel through the tender so that crews could go from the engine to the train without the train stopping. That was famous about it. But what's now known as the Flying Scotsman is one of the locomotives that was used at that time. It was the first locomotive to officially operate at 100 miles an hour in England. It's number 4472. That locomotive, after it was retired from service, toured the United States. I saw it in 1970, and it toured Australia, standard gauge lines in Australia. It's now at the National Museum of Railways in York, England.
I used to have a bar in Perth that I went to called the Flying Scotsman.
Oh, yeah?
This little tidbit.
Which steam locomotive set the world record for world speed record for steam traction, and when did it achieve this feat?
What did I say?
Okay,
we didn't ask you. This is one of the ones I skipped. So you can answer it now if you'd like. You too.
Go ahead.
The Hinakawa Express.
Okay.
That was gonna be my guess.
Okay.
See, Mike, there was no point in that. You just answered.
There wasn't. That was a pretty arcane question. The answer is a locomotive called the Mallard, which was also built or designed by Nigel Grussley, who designed the 4472 Flying Scotsman. That engine is also in York. The speed record, I believe, is 126 miles an hour. Now, there are people who will say that there are locomotives in the U.S. that ran faster than that, back in the steam locomotives, back in the old days, but they were not officially recorded in the way that the English felt was necessary. So the English did not recognize those records.
And then I did ask this, what is the significance of the big boy steam locomotive, and how does it hold a place in railroad history?
Well, it's the biggest locomotive that was ever built and the heaviest, a steam locomotive, that is. And it only served for about 18 years. When it was retired, the class was retired, and 8 of them were preserved. In 2019, the Union Pacific bought one of them back. It used to be displayed in Pomona at the fairgrounds for a long time. And it took them 5 years to rebuild it, but it went around the country, and it's going to do it again in 2024. So, it'll be out there. You'll hear about it.
And while we're on the subject of locomotives, I'll just jump ahead. The weight of a locomotive. Taylor said 700 pounds, and Jim said 200 tons.
Jim this is one of his answers that helped him make a strong finish. But the answer is yes, it's about 200 tons or a little more. It depends on the locomotive, depends on some of them have 8 wheels, some have 12 wheels. The 12-wheel ones are generally heavier. And then, of course, on top of that, you're loading it up with 4,000 to 5,000 gallons of diesel fuel, and you've got lubricants and you've got coolants in there. So it can be pretty heavy. The heavier a locomotive is, the heavier a train it can start, and that's what's important to the railroads. They want to run as few trains as possible with as much tonnage as possible, because that's how they get paid.
It's unbelievable. They weigh 432,000. It's so heavy.
They should have a
Feel
TLC reality show there.
Yeah.
Like, how do you move one of those around if they're not on the tracks? Like, how do you do? Because sometimes
Interesting question. There's an outfit called Hulcher that has huge cranes. When they have a
Egyptians.
derailment, they have to bring out Hulcher to lift these things off the wherever they ended up in the creek on the side of the railroad, put them back on rails, and then take them to the shop to get them fixed. But they do have cranes that'll lift them.
crazy.
Which country boasts the world's fastest commercial train service, and what is its top speed? Japan was the answer, 389 miles per hour. Taylor answered in
Okay,
Japanese.
the Japan, good guess. Shinkansen is the Japanese term for bullet train. That's also correct.
Everybody,
But-
thank you.
But the Chinese have the world's largest high-speed network, built mostly in the last 15 years. And they have the fastest, based on my research, the fastest maximum speed, which is 217 miles an hour. The Japanese, the Germans, and the French all run at about 200 at their fastest.
And that's what? How is that all electric or is that gas?
Yeah, it's all electric.
It's all electric. You cannot get that kind of speed out of a diesel.
Yeah.
There just isn't enough power.
I didn't ask you this, guys. You're gonna. What is the purpose of maglev trains, and where can you find one of the most well-known maglev systems?
Okay,
Make trains great
Go
again.
ahead.
Make trains great again. Is that your answer, maglev?
Yeah.
Mike, just answer these, please. All right, what is the purpose of that?
Well, the answer is I have trouble considering a maglev as a train or a railroad because it really doesn't run on rails. It runs on a concrete platform. But the famous, probably best known maglev connects the airport in Shanghai with downtown Shanghai. I've got I believe it's 19 miles. It takes 8 minutes. They go up to 268 miles an hour.
And it's magnets,
The Japanese are, the Japanese, it runs by magnet. Basically,
those ones that
guideway
hover
is
off the top.
magnetized.
Yeah.
If you think about trying to push two magnets with the same polarity together, that's the same principle. That levitates the train and reduces a lot of the friction so they can go faster.
But you don't consider these to be trains?
They're not in railroads because they don't have rails,
right.
but that's my opinion.
What about trams?
The problem with
trams
maglev
trains?
is that it's very, very expensive to build and maintain.
Are trams trains?
Yes.
Yeah,
They run on rails.
I think they are as well. Yeah.
How do you feel about monorails?
They have one rail.
What are your opinions?
But do you count that as a
They're
train?
good at Disney World.
Well, we had one in Sydney that was for the longest time, for about 30 years. We
Yes.
had one in Sydney just kicking around. We were trying to make the city look more space age, and no one rode the fucking thing. They just had to get rid
I
of it.
remember seeing it running around Sydney with a picture of Shaq. It was some movie he was promoting at the time.
Well, that would
it
be
was
the one
wrapped
where
in
he
a
was
Shaq movie.
a genie.
I remember that.
Shazam.
Shazam.
What do you think about Shazam?
It might have been Shazam.
One rail.
What famous train journey crosses through 8 time zones and spans nearly 6,000 miles? Jim said the Siberian Express. Taylor said Costa Rica.
He is correct. However,
I was
and
correct.
I won't break down on this. They have suspended the Trans-Siberian Express because of the war in Ukraine and the fact that tourism in Russia has gone from very low levels to near non-existent.
What are your thoughts on the war in Ukraine?
Probably outside my expertise.
I was going to ask.
He thinks about trains, and he thinks it's not good for trains.
It's not good for the industry.
You know what I don't like? The Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It keeps going up every podcast I do. I hate them. Ding, 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 ding. You know that?
I think they're cool.
The worst. All right, anyway.
Dun, 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 dun,
Very aggressive.
That one.
That's so fun. You hate that?
It's too
Imagine
aggressive.
seeing that live. That'd be so cool.
Forrest doesn't have fun.
No, yeah,
He
sorry.
doesn't like bread. He doesn't like
Fun's not his
Trans-Siberian
thing.
Orchestra.
What about the songs from Home Alone? The music.
That's not the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
No, but you hate that?
I like Christmas music.
Isn't that Christmas music? The Trans-Siberian
It's too
Orchestra.
aggressive.
He doesn't like the electric guitars.
Which famous train route takes passengers from Chicago to LA and is often associated with classic American travel? These guys said the buses, Greyhound buses.
I said the Greyhound train.
What do we got
Siberian
there, Mike?
Express.
Locked in.
I'd say the Super Chief.
The Super Cheap.
That's racist.
Super
Chief.
Super Washington football team.
Oh, yeah, Super Guardian.
Got it.
So the super, does this still run from
Super
Chicago?
Senators.
Chicago.
There is a service called the Southwest Chief that Amtrak runs, but it's the same equipment and the same meals and everything that you get on any of the other transcontinental trains.
Yeah,
so
what?
it's not really special like the Super Chief was.
Why is the Australian train called the Indian Pacific when we didn't even have Indians, like American native people there? Like, why isn't it called the Aboriginal Express or something? I know that sounds like I'm making a joke, but it's a question.
Well, I think it's because the train connects the Indian and the Pacific Oceans.
That would be it. That'd be it.
Asshole.
That'd be it. It's the Indian Ocean.
I was about to say that too.
Yeah, that's right. That's the Perth has the
Mike,
Indian
you're very
Ocean.
nice. You could be like, hey, idiot.
I used to live there on the Indian Ocean.
I like that Mike knows the answers. He goes, I think it's because.
So polite.
The Indian and the Pacific. That makes every bit of sense. I'm not even going to fact check that one.
We believe you, Mike. How does a steam locomotive work? Jim says you shovel some coal in there, pull a whistle to release some steam. Hotter goes faster.
That's basically right. You boil the water, and water, when it boils, it becomes steam and it expands, and that energy is captured by the machinery in the locomotive to make the wheels turn.
Yeah.
Sick.
Where does the word train come from? There's a whole thing about training, and then you got to train this person, and then drops of Jupiter, Taylor said. I don't think any of those are right.
It's gonna be hard to choose which one's the right answer.
Right on the peace train.
Oh, maybe it's that one. I switched to that answer.
Yeah, Cat Stevens peace
What about
train.
Crazy Train?
No, that's ridiculous.
That's a joke.
Yeah, I had sex with your sister.
Well, the word train comes from a woman's dress. Women used to wear very long dresses in the Middle Ages, and the part that dragged behind them on the ground was called the train.
Train, yeah.
And they appropriated that term to cover a locomotive pulling a bunch of coal cars.
And women say we didn't give them anything. we named one of our biggest achievements after the back of their dresses. and they wanted the vote.
What country travels the most by train? Jim said India, maybe, but then he changed it to England per capita. Taylor said Japan. What do we got?
He should have stuck with India. India is, based on my research, but I thought it would be China. But when I checked the numbers, India is like double China.
Do they sell tickets?
Of people, the trains with people hanging on the roofs, they don't really do that anymore, but they really use the trains in India.
Do they sell tickets for the roofs? Are they cheaper than the main cabin?
I've never been to India, so I really can't say, but I don't think I'd buy one.
I once was on a
A lot of the
train.
railroads are electrified. I wouldn't want to ride up there.
I was once on a train in England, and I did so many trains in England. I was on the trains every day, but there's always that bloke who comes around, tickets please, and he's literally got that hole punch. He's walking around, and there was this bloke that he went up and goes, tickets please, and this bloke just sat forward like this. He's like, all right then, enough of this. Can you please get out your tickets? All right, Mr. Smarty Pants. Come on now. If you can get your ticket out. And then I realised in our society, and I even realised this with comedy audiences, sadly enough, if you're playing up in this world, no one can touch you anymore. Right? Yeah. If you just sit still and blank faced, they can't pick you up or anything. No one can make you do anything.
What the guy do?
He just fucking sat there till he got to his stop. he brought. It was like, he's just figured life out. You just say and do nothing until you get to where you want to go. Because other people like he goes, all right, well, you made me do this. And then he walks up and he came back storming in with another bloke like, fucking hell, Terry, why don't you get this sorted the first time? Mate, can you please give us your ticket? And then, at that stage, now I'm rooting for him.
What is the difference, if any, between American trains and European trains? And then Jim, at the very beginning of the podcast, was just saying how trains in America aren't as good as Europe. Maybe there's a reason for that.
Well, you just need more of them, and they don't seem to be. Because, okay, when you say the United States of America, it does make some problems because the states aren't actually united when it comes to laws. So anytime you cross over from one bit to another bit, another governor's going, oh, this is my bit of money, this is my money. It makes getting shit done in America a bit more difficult.
Yep.
Than, say, England, which has no states and is up and down, side to side. It's all just done by the one government. You're not having to argue all day. So I understand why there's problems in America with the trains. And I'm not trying to be mean to Americans, but your trains are no good.
Hey, love it or leave it, pal. All right.
Well, I'd like to, but I can't get to the airport because the trains aren't running on time.
Mike, you got opinions? Or
Oh, well,
facts?
I can go on for quite some distance on that. But anyway, the trains in America, you're dealing with a society that's larger. It's less dense. The population is more spread out. And
We're just talking about
the
physical size
automobile-
of people now, right? Larger and more spread out.
Well, you
I
can
always
take
think
it that way too.
because I always think
But-
the fat, they have a better time on the railroad than they do in the airplane. The airplane seats are slimmer.
Right.
If you're a fatty, the majestic railroad.
All right, Mike, please keep it
or
explaining.
boats,
Well,
maybe,
let's
too.
let's move on.
No. The country is more spread out.
I mean, in America, it's more practical to drive. There's more places to park. I can't think of any place in England that has huge parking lots and a lot of street parking and big surface parking lots like we have in the United States that are very common. You just don't have that.
Oh, no,
And
no,
so it's less
hopeless.
practical to drive in Europe. So more people take the train. And I think there's more of a history and less political resistance in Europe to funding passenger service because passenger service generally does not make money anywhere. You can find some exceptions, but for the most part, it's unprofitable. It's provided as a service by the government. It's true here. It's true in Europe. And it's more people depend on it in Europe, I think, than here. The biggest difference between traveling in the United States by train and traveling in Europe is that the trains are smaller. They're narrower. They're not as tall. And there isn't as much room for you to sit. So that's one of the things that I noticed when I travel by trains in Europe. In the United States, you have a lot of room. The pitch on those seats is very wide, and I would say that your seat is something like 32, 34 inches, something like that.
Yeah, I wish they had more trains. I enjoy like when you're in New York City, for instance, like just taking trains and so I like that so much better. And in Europe when I'm there, because the driving, it's like you said, the parking. There's so many ways they get you for money and time. And environmentally, it's better.
The Brits are talking about, and all countries now are talking about going fully electric with the cars and all that type of stuff. I don't know how the Brits will do it because, I know that not everyone with an electric car has to have a garage with a plug or a plug at their home or whatever, but literally 90% of people living in London, 98% of people living in London do not have a garage, do not have their own fucking parking spot. They're all street parking. Yeah. And so how they're going to go without gasoline and move over to fucking electric is beyond me.
They'll probably start putting them along the parking.
Yeah, but I know the British, they'll vandalise them. If you have a plug that just hangs off a wall, that won't last long with those folks. They know it as well. Yeah. They're not good at keeping things nice.
Yeah. All right, Mike, this is the part of our show called Dinner Party Facts. We ask our expert to give us some facts, something obscure, interesting they can use to impress people. What do you got for us on trains?
Well, we just talked about American trains not being as convenient or as frequent as European trains. All of that is true. But in the United States, air travel is the dominant means of traveling long distances. Most people are not aware that if you take a 737, and so many of our domestic services are run with 737s, that fuselage of that plane was built in Wichita, Kansas. And in order to assemble it into an airplane, the fuselage is loaded on a flat car and shipped by rail by BNSF Railway from Wichita to Renton, Washington, which is where 737s are made. So even though you're not taking a train ride when you ride on an airplane, your airplane probably did.
That's really good. That's really good.
No planes without trains, baby.
There you go. Thank you, Michael Blazak, for being here. Check out his book called Chicago, America's Railroad Capital. And thank you so much for being here on the podcast today.
And if you want more of me, I'm on Instagram at MWB0153.
Oh, yeah. Send that to me. Email that to me so we can put that down there, too.
I'll email it to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being here, Mike. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Mike. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever at a party and someone comes up to you and goes, buddy, the first American train went from Omaha to Sacramento, go, I don't know about that. You're probably right. Good night, Australia.